Tolkien brings us one of the nastiest warrior castes in all of fantasy, found in the Lord of the Rings. They were born and bred for war, forged by Saruman's hands to be the greatest, ultimate warriors of Middle-earth. The Uruk-hai marched under the banner of the White Hand, striking fear into all those that witnessed or even opposed them. Today I'm going to be breaking down the brutal training, ruthless diet, and relentless mindset of the Tolkien Uruk-hai. This is Legends Forged, where in each episode I break down the training, mindset, and nutrition of warrior creeds throughout fantasy and see how we can apply their philosophies to our own training regimes.
Whom do you serve? Saruman.
The Uruk-hai were a product of Saruman's twisted experiments, combining the physical relentlessness of orcs and adaptability of the humans. They were taller, stronger, and immune to sunlight, unlike their smaller counterparts that withered in daylight, the Mordorian orc. With physical enhancements and brutal discipline, they became a force feared throughout Rohan. Uruk-hai excelled in melee combat, wielding extremely heavy weapons and opting for absolute brute strength. Their training and way of combat focused on sheer strength to overpower the enemy, and strong, tight formations in order to barrel through them in any given war scenario. Incorporating weighted strikes with a heavy bar to build endurance and explosive power. Like a mix of compound lifts, such as the deadlift, and explosive movements like the military press will keep you in fighting condition, and graft iron skin on those small chicken legs you call trunks. Add in high intensity interval training like short sprints in order to keep the intensity and heart rate up, emulating close quarters combat, and you'll be ready to siege Helm's Deep. Unlike the traditional orcs that swarmed you, the Uruk-hai actually understood formations. They would get together close, especially in a shield wall formation, and even incorporated some Roman tactics, such as the most famous testudo or tortoise formation, where you see shields on the sides, front, and top. Saruman trained them to coordinate under one banner, allowing them to move and fight as one relentless force. Using sled pushes to simulate pushing enemies back is a perfect use of your time. Training in formation also has the added benefit of helping build teamwork, trust, and resilience, while sled work can help replicate the pushing strength and coordination needed to form cohesive battle lines. The Uruk-hai were trained particularly for interesting sieges, where they would entirely excel at. They were most skilled at handling siege equipment, such as battering rams, ladders, and even makeshift explosives, all the while carrying heavy weapons and armor while under fire. Weighted carries develop that raw strength that you need in order to push past enemy lines. They also happen to breed the mental resilience and toughness needed to breach enemy fortifications, with the added benefit of building stamina in order to last and survive those long drawn out sieges. Now I know that like most guys that go to the gym, I am a very protein centered type of maniac, but even I think the Uruk-hai take the carnivore diet a little bit too far. You see, they aren't picky eaters. They can devour and process raw meat across the board, and so that's usually what they opt for. On the other hand, I do like to look at the silver lining, so I do understand that this does build muscle mass. But in all honesty, we should take it down a notch and just follow the normal carnivore diet, eating high quality grass-fed beef with minimal seasoning such as salt, maybe pepper, but don't quote me on that one. Add that on with the raw beef liver needed in order to get all the vitamins and nutrients the body requires, and just set for being jacked up all the time. Now if they didn't have the enemies or the cattle to find the raw meat that they required, they would do one of two things. First, they would carry rations. Yep, even they didn't like rotten, foul-smelling, mutated kinds of meat, and so they would carry dried, salted rations in order to snack on during those long marches. They also had access to something really fancy called orc drought, a foul drink that I've always imagined to work like alcohol, but apparently it works in the complete opposite way, keeping the Uruk-hai revitalized and always alert. I guess maybe it works like cocaine. Uruk-hai, or orc cocaine, is a drink combining dried and salted meats with yogurt-based drinks like kefir, high in electrolytes, will keep you energized and your spirits high. And method number 2 of sustenance, cannibalism. Like I mentioned, they weren't picky eaters. Focusing on survival and strength often meant that cannibalizing their fellow warriors would result in they themselves becoming bigger and stronger specimens. And as is normal here, I am going to look at the silver lining of the entire situation and understand that actually it all has to do with adaptability and survival. Focusing on nutrient-dense options without the overt need for delicious food or specific foods your gut might be used to will help build a survival and adaptable mindset centered around nutrition, training, and lifestyle in general. Now I've got to mention this very clearly. Definitely don't cannibalize. Unless you and your boy aren't dying of starvation and you gotta make ends meet. And sadly, because you know the secrets to adaptable nutrition, because you watch my videos, and he doesn't, then and only then would the C word be maybe alright? Maybe. If both of you are freezing and survival is at stake. A leg or two couldn't hurt much. But even we can learn something from the Uruk mindset, not just from their relentless pursuit of hobbits or their brutal strikes in combat. Uruk had intensely fierce loyalty bred into them from day one. Not to their brethren, not to other Uruk, but to Saruman, their lord and master himself. This ultimately says more about Saruman than it does the Uruk, but it can teach us the power of devotion. Finding loyalty in friends, in specific people that you know want the best for you, as opposed to positions of power, can make you both malleable and fiercely loyal at the same time. Not just that, but the Uruk were fearsome to behold and way bigger than most enemies. Their aggressive nature, dark allure, and the white hand of Saruman placed on their forehead was a form of psychological warfare against regular farmers that had to take up swords and shields that just simply couldn't handle the pressure. With this kind of aura, they could demoralize the enemy before a single blow had landed. Body language and confidence can be an intimidating power even in the worst of circumstances, but much of it is garnered through reputation. Ask yourself, how do others perceive me? And think, do you carry yourself with an air of danger and competence? If not, then ask yourself, how can you reach that? I'll tell you how. Through excessive training and proof of your brutally unyielding mindset. Here's a brutal weekly workout routine inspired by the Uruk, focusing on relentless strength, endurance, and combat skills. On Monday, strength and power. Your focus is full body power for combat. Heavy lifts like deadlifts, squats, and overhead presses, with high reps, moderate to heavy weights, to build raw power and endurance. On Tuesday, combat drills. Close quarter combat and weapon handling is your focus for today. Weighted club or mace strikes, battle ropes, and shadow boxing with resistance bands, emphasizing explosive repetitive strikes and quick recovery between sets. Wednesday, an endurance march. Your focus is stamina and mental toughness. A long weighted march with a heavy backpack focusing on distance, 3 to 5 miles at the very least, maintaining a relentless pace with minimal rest to build endurance. On Thursday, shield and formation drills. Your focus today is group coordination and pushing power. Sled pushes or heavy bag carries paired with partner shield holds or resistance band pushes to simulate formation drills will help to build you like an immovable object. On Friday, functional strength and agility. Your focus today is on speed and adaptability. Tire flips, sandbag carries, and agility ladder drills, emphasizing quick changes in direction and powerful movements to mimic battlefield agility. On Saturday, intense interval training. Quick recovery and stamina is your focus today. High intensity interval training with bodyweight exercises like burpees, jump squats, and sprints, and minimal rest between sets will build a relentless endurance-based system that helps your stamina and mindset push through even the toughest of challenges. On Sunday, active recovery and mental focus. Rest, flexibility, and mindset is your focus for today. It's very easy. Some light stretching or yoga, breathing exercises, and meditation. Using this day to recover and mentally prepare for the next week's grind and seethe as you imagine your enemies being torn limb from limb. Uruk ferocity didn't just lay with the fact that they were bigger and stronger than most mortals. It was their indomitable will and ferocious drive to devour, coupled with their brutal nature, that made them feared across the lands of Rohan. What we can learn from them is brutal competency. Moving, striking, and devouring with brutality no matter who the enemy is. We will keep others afraid and at bay, making sure that you and your loved ones stay safe. So if you enjoyed this video, hit that like and subscribe button along with the notification bell. And if you have any interesting information to do with today's video or any previous videos, feel free to comment down below, and also let me know any other warrior casts throughout history or fantasy that you might like me to break down. Thank you for watching, and try not to cannibalize any of your friends unless you're going on an ice expedition and you're starving to death.